This is not your typical New York City tour experience. How did you decide this is what you wanted to do and this was the subject matter that you were going to start these tours with?
So I have been working in nonprofit social services for approximately, let's say, over 2 decades. I thought it was time to have more creative explorations in my life. And I thought about how much I enjoy walking tours, and particularly how much I enjoy walking tours that focus on some unique aspect of any city that I'm visiting. And from that, I realized, how much of New York City's history is linked to our situation with garbage, with rats. And so I dug in. As you see, I'm a graduate of New York City's Rat Academy. I attended the Sanitation Foundation's Trash Academy. I'm a member of the Rat Pack. Here's my official t-shirt. And I did some more reading, and I thought this is really important stuff, actually. We should understand both how our city developed and how our trash and rats have impacted us as a city, and also what we're doing today that influences our environment and our future as a city. And so, yeah, I put it all together, and it's a lot of fun. We talk about the important history stuff, but we also have a good time and learn some really disgusting things along the way, as well as seeing some rats.
I have to say, I'm intrigued by this. I really am, because I love a unique walking tour. Someone who took your tour recently said this, quote, "It was interesting, educational, and at the same time, disgusting. Thank you for a truly different and unique evening." I would call that a success. What do you hope your patrons walk away from or with?
That is exactly what I want people to walk away with. I want them to have had a good time confronting some things that are kind of nasty, while at the same time thinking about, like, people are always saying New York is so dirty, it's so disgusting. And it is true. We do have some pretty bad problems with litter and with our garbage, but on the tour, you will learn that New York is so much more disgusting in the past than it is now. In the 1800s, the streets were covered with basically muck, and that muck would be things like human feces, animal feces, rotting food, industrial waste from tanneries, butcher shops, all that kind of stuff. And that's what you'd be walking in. And it was so gross, it was even had a name for it. It was called corporation pudding. And that, if you think about it, is what was on your shoes. It was, women were wearing those long dresses. It was all in the hems of your dresses. And so it's really important that we finally got our act together by the late 1800s and truly started cleaning up the streets, because I can only imagine now. In the 1880s, you could actually smell New York City from 6 miles offshore as you were approaching. It was intense.
So you're saying it's gotten better. As someone who works in New York City, I was born and raised in Queens. It seems like a daily rat sighting is the norm, especially on the subway. But there are conflicting numbers on the rat population. There's one estimate that the number is high as 3 million rats. What have you learned, Suzanne? What's your estimate here?
Really, really high. So one thing, New York City has a person who coordinates all the different rat mitigation activities between the 5 boroughs and our different city agencies. And one thing she says is it's really impossible to truly know how many rats there are in New York City. And the most important thing we need to think about is where the worst infestations are and focus on mitigating those. That said, as a tour guide, I want some more concrete numbers. I think that's what people want to hear. I know that's what I like hearing. And one thing that I look back in time is in 1949, there was a scientific study done in East Harlem where someone actually tagged rats and counted them. Yes, and his estimate at that time was 1 in 36, one rat for every 36 people. Which, if you do some math, we have about 8 million people today. That would give us approximately 225,000 rats.
Okay.
Now, I also just look, I think, things have changed a lot since 1949. Certainly, we have a lot more development, a lot more people, a lot more litter. So I even estimate as high as 250. And I was just looking at this And actually, the New York City Department of Health is estimating also about 250,000 rats.
Okay.
So don't worry, we do not have 3 million rats.
Oh, and we are showing that infamous pizza rat video that went viral. It was really fun talking to you, Suzanne. I love your idea, and apparently your patrons do too.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.